Hello, everyone. My name is Jacob from jacobteacher.com, and I am here today with Sungjae, also known as Korean Billy. May I call you Billy for the interview?
Yes, you can call me Billy. That would be convenient.
Great. Billy, thanks for coming on the show, and I wanted to ask you before we start, Chigum Mohamen.
Ah, 지금 뭐? That's Jeju dialect, isn't
That
it?
is Jeju
Oh
dialect,
my
yeah.
God, right.
So, right now
Yeah.
I'm living in Jeju Island, and Billy is living in Seoul, correct?
Right.
So I was just trying to impress Billy with my Jeju dialect Korean skills.
Oh wow, you've learned some Korean dialect then.
I've learned a little bit of Korean
Uh-huh.
dialect. And the reason I bring up dialect is because over the last little while, Billy has become quite popular on YouTube for talking about different kinds of British dialects. So, Billy, I was wondering before we start here if you could just introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your YouTube channel.
Okay, so my name is Song Jae Kong. That's my Korean name, but I am known as Korean Billy online. And I make YouTube videos about British culture and British English. And I usually focus on British dialects, particularly. So I have become popular, somewhat popular, thanks to my British dialect videos. That's what I mainly do these days.
Yeah, that's really great. And again, his YouTube channel is Korean Billy, so I would highly recommend checking that out, especially if you're interested in learning different kinds of British dialects. But today, I kind of wanted to talk about becoming fluent in English within the context of Korean society.
Mm-hmm.
I've been teaching English in Korea for the past year and a half, and you're someone who grew up in the Korean educational system. So I was wondering if
Right.
you could explain what it's like for a student in Korea growing up and learning English, what the average student experiences.
Well, when it comes to the Korean education, like studying in Korea, well, only one word pops up in my mind, which is just, very tense, very tough, very tense, intense. So my student life in Korea was quite tough as well, because yeah, I was just also one of the average just Korean students, studying in Korean schools. And yeah, I woke up really, really early in the morning and I went to bed really late at night. And yeah, I studied just literally so much. And I can't really still I can't really understand how I managed to, get by, how I got by, at Korean school. So literally, I studied so much, especially when I was a high school student and including English subject as well.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting to me because Korean students they study so hard, they study so much, they study English a lot too.
Hmm.
Yet very few people reach the level of English fluency that you've reached. And I wonder why do you think that is?
Well, I think uh, just in average, Korean people are quite good at English, but not very good at spoken English, I would say. They are really good at like understanding like English texts, like reading books or just English grammar. They are really good at English grammar or just, understanding English text. But I think Korean schools don't really teach, practical English, like spoken English. And I could never like practice speaking English when I was at high school. So I think that's why like Korean people, get like frozen when they try to, speak in English because they've never practiced, speaking English.
And at what point did you notice your own passion for English?
Sorry, come again?
At what point did you notice your own passion for English?
Oh, well, I've been interested in, foreign languages since I was very young. So I think the moment when I found out the English language when I was like 6 years old, I think, when I was a very young kid. Yeah. Just, in my hometown there were some, foreigners, maybe English teachers in Korea, I guess. So when I just first saw them, that was just so interesting to me. So I couldn't help, approach them and just said hello. and just try to just talk to them. But I just found that I couldn't really talk to them because they spoke in like different language. So that kind of shocked me, and since then I got really interested in, different languages and including English language, and I just started to learn, English language. Just for me, just, people speaking in a different language. The fact that, people can speak in different languages was really interesting to me. So I just started to learn different kinds of, foreign languages.
Now, I imagine with that attitude, you must have excelled in English class as a student growing up. So I was wondering, from my personal experience as a teacher, in every class I've taught, there's a very wide range in terms of students' English ability. There are some students who can speak almost fluently already in elementary
Hmm.
school, and there are some students who can't speak a word of English. I
Hmm.
imagine you were probably closer to the higher fluency range.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
And
because I really enjoyed learning, the English language. So I just, asked questions a lot, and I was always just really, active about learning English language. So I think so. Yeah. Hmm.
and we'll have to hunt down some of your old foreign English teachers and ask them.
Hmm.
But what was that like being in a classroom with such a wide range of English ability?
In
In Korea?
Korea.
Yeah.
Mm, well, like, how can I say? Could you repeat the question again?
Yeah, so being a student who was pretty good at English at a young age, what was it
Hmm.
like being in a classroom with students who weren't at that same skill level as you? Like I know as a teacher, for me, it's very hard to kind of find the balance between helping some of the students who need more help, who aren't as strong in English, and teaching some of the more advanced students some other stuff that challenges them. So, what was that like in that situation?
Oh, right. So I think, like when I was at like middle school or high school, a lot of my classmates just, asked some questions about English language, and they just, tried to just follow me. I don't know why. Like it could have been possible that, there could have been some students who were jealous, but thankfully there were like nobody who were like jealous about my English fluency. So I just enjoyed learning English language with my classmates. And for English teachers, I think they just found out that, I really liked English language and my English skill is like somewhat really great. So they really looked after me very well, and they, yeah, just took care of me actually, and just giving me some extra care, and they taught me more about, English language. And like even on the graduation day, some English teachers, came to me and gave me some special presents,
Oh
even
wow.
though they were not my homeroom teachers. So yeah, that was, yeah. So English. So I really enjoyed, the English classes at my schools, and I didn't really like, math classes.
Yeah.
So I think the only class I enjoyed was the English class.
It sounds like you were quite the model student.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was wondering, when did you feel like you took your English to the next level, and what sort of things did you do on your own to study and to become to get to the level of English fluency that you're at right now?
Well, I think the reason why I started to learn uh, the English language is because I really wanted to talk to people, and I really wanted to go to, America and Britain. So I just tried to imagine that I am actually in a country where people speak in English. So I just tried to change my life. You know, I, I just tried to change everything in English, in my ordinary life, and try to like think in English. And I also kept my diary, and yeah, I just practiced a lot. I just, spoke to myself as well. And I just tried really a lot to get really familiar with, speaking in English, because I thought just, being familiar with speaking in one language is like making a habit. So I'd practice a lot, like training, like physical training, and after that, I got relatively familiar with speaking English because I got like used to it. So that really helped me a lot. So I like it took a lot of time for me actually. So I practiced a lot. I just try to, repeat after some, movie characters or drama characters. And I also just, just whatever I see, I just try to, think in English or just, you know, describe what I see, in the real life in English. So, yeah, so I did like almost everything in English, and that helped me really, really a lot to get familiar with, using the English language.
I like what you said about comparing it to kind of working out or something physical and
Right,
creating that
right.
habit. I think that's a really useful analogy. And I wanted to ask you, you have your channel now on YouTube. You've experienced quite a bit of success with that. Besides all that, in what way has becoming fluent in English benefited you? What has been the biggest benefit besides the success you've experienced on your YouTube channel?
Well, obviously, thanks to my fluency in English, I can communicate with many, many more people in English, right? Because like if I could have been, able to speak in only Korean, I just would have been able to only I would have just ended up with, talking to Korean people, only Korean people. But now I can speak in English as well, and I can read English and I can write in English. I can just communicate with people like almost all over the world, like almost everybody in the world, because almost everybody can use English somehow. So that really helps me a lot to meet new people, and meeting new people inspires me a lot and gives me a lot of new ideas, and it just literally broadens my world. So like yeah, so just by being able to, speak in English, my life just has become really exciting rather than just, being able to speak in Korean, only speak in Korean. So yeah, that just, improved my life actually.
And why British English? I know since I've started blogging online, I see so many people that really want to learn not only English but British English. And I confess personally, I also love the sound of British English. But
Oh,
why do you think it is that so many people want to learn British English?
well, for me, I think I also had a like typical reason, uh, like when it comes to like being interested in British English. When I was a high school student, I just, watched some British TV shows and British films, and at that time, Harry Potter was really
Oh
popular.
yeah,
So I don't know, like just when it comes to the English language itself, I've been studying English for almost like 20 years, but after studying English for a few years, I just found out I just tried to, take a look at, different English materials. So I just happened to, watch British TV shows as well, and I just found out there were different kinds of English as well. So that really fascinated me. And also, I really liked British TV shows and British films, British culture, like British pop music. So I just naturally got fascinated by British culture and British English. And since I really wanted to go to the UK and experience the real culture and real life in the UK, I started to learn British English really hard. And I've been studying British English for now about 8 years
wow.
up to now. Yeah.
And that leads me nicely to my next question. What is, if you had to pick just one, your favorite English word, idiom, or
Oh.
phrase? I'll tell you, I've been studying Korean for the past year and a half now. My favorite Korean word is sunmuk. That's the word for wrist in English.
Ah,
And
Sonmo.
I think when someone described it to me the first time, I thought it was such an interesting way to describe wrist because the
Ah,
literal
right.
translation of sunmuk is hand, neck. So that
Right,
sounds
right,
so
right.
interesting to me as an English speaker. Very poetic, actually.
Right, right.
And yeah, I was wondering what do you have a favorite word or idiom or phrase, whether it's in a certain British dialect or just in English in general?
Mm, I would say, just for general British English, my favorite word would be cheers.
Cheers.
Because, yeah, cheers.
Right. Now,
Because
I mean,
it both,
people in English they cheers like when you're having a drink, you cheers. But what is it in
right.
British English?
Like, they obviously say cheers when they try to drink
Yeah.
and make a toast, but they also say cheers when they, like, celebrate something or when they try to say thank you. So I heard British people say cheers like so many times in the UK. So I think cheers is one of the most British word or expression. And for dialect word, I would say brachi.
What's that?
That is the Liverpool dialect word, and that means breakfast
Oh wow.
in
Yeah,
Liverpool.
I had no idea.
Yeah, yeah. So like Liverpool people say like I want some brachi, like shall we have some brachi la? They say something like that.
That sounds like Hebrew to me almost.
Right. Yeah, that's yeah, for me it sounds like German or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah, European language. So that was really interesting to me because like that shows very different accent
Yeah, that's
of
yeah.
the Liverpool accent. So that was really interesting to me, and I even use this word when I go to Liverpool. So
That's
that's
great.
really
I,
interesting word to me.
I'm sure that's a huge hit when they see a Korean man speaking perfect dialect. What are you? So you've had all of this success now. You're doing really well. What are you most proud of?
Well, well, I like when I first, started my YouTube channel, my first goal was to go to the UK uh, out of my YouTube channel. And
Like
yeah, I hoped that, my YouTube channel would enable me to go to the UK.
financially, you mean?
Yeah, financially or just, physically, just in any way,
Hmm.
actually.
Okay.
So, and I managed to go there last month. And that was I was really proud of
Yeah.
myself that I managed to go there, yeah, thanks to my YouTube channel. And uh and I don't know, like Korean people, because I really like British culture. Now I make videos about British culture and British English, and I can see lots of Korean people get really fascinated by British culture and British, English as well. And just, by seeing them, I just find it really, great. And I feel kind of proud because like sharing what I really like is a great thing for me. And I just feel really happy and proud. I feel when I see like people say they are now really fascinated by British English and British culture as well. So I just the fact that my YouTube channel is a place where Korean people can enjoy what I like together, and also for also British people like join my YouTube channel and they just share their culture together, and just yeah, by seeing everything, I just feel so proud, and yeah, I just feel really encouraged and think that I've done something really valuable. So yeah, I feel very proud in many different ways these days.
Great. And what does the future hold for Korean Billy?
Oh wow. So there are many other different dialects I haven't covered yet. There are like around like 30
Oh wow.
dialects in the UK. So there are still many other dialects I should do research and I should learn, which I really enjoy. So I'll make more videos about different UK dialects, and in the end I can also try, different dialects from different countries like American dialects and Australian dialects. Yeah, hopefully I would do that. And I am also like trying to do some like different. I'm also trying to, do try. I am also trying different platforms like um, podcast or blog or just Korean channel or some English channel, English teaching channel for Korean people. So yeah, I'm really enjoying like trying new things. So I'll see just what happens after trying everything.
Yeah,
And
it sounds like you have quite a bit on the horizon, and I'm very
yeah,
excited to see what you come up with. Billy, thanks so much for the interview. And again, if you haven't checked out Billy online, go to YouTube right now, search Korean Billy, and check out his videos. They're really awesome, and you will love them. Billy, thank you so much.
thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye bye.